Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. My car. I just got in my car. I don't know. I'm sorry. But I just got in my car and it's freaking hot. But I really, real quick, wanted to speak on some information, that just like came to me. I was just like, what the fuck? This is so interesting, right? Because I'm one of those individuals. I'm really big on educating myself, higher learning, higher education, whether that's college, whether that's reading a book, whether that's watching YouTube videos to help you understand the world, yourself better, becoming a better version of yourself, right? That's initially why I started this channel, is to not only help me become a better version of myself, but document it. You can literally go back to the beginning of my YouTube channel and see the drastic changes that I went through physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. There's so many changes that I've gone through within myself, and I'm just so grateful I started when I started and documented it, because for me, I always was an individual searching for something more, and believing that becoming a better version of yourself, you may not know that you're trying to become a better version of yourself. That may not like come to your mind, right? But it's the essence of knowing you want something better. You want to change something within your life, whether it's how your body looks, whether it's your mindset, whether it's, just the foods that you're eating, whether it's the job, the car, something within your environment. Your soul, your mind is telling you, I want to change this. I want to do something different, right? And so initially, we've gotten this far. We've gotten to this point where I've changed a lot. I've done a lot. And sometimes you're just so in flow within. You're so trying to continue to move forward, to just continue to be better, that you forget to look back at all the work you've already done, all the wisdom you've already gained from all the transformation, all the change that you've gone through. And that's when you just need to like stop and what do they call it? Stop and smell the roses. I also like to call it stop and eat the grass. Like literally just stop and eat that grass, baby. Like ground yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and realize all the shit you've gone through, but all the shit you've overcome while going through it initially, right? And it's a powerful thing to really just look back and really see all the work that you put in, because it allows you to be like, oh yeah, I am that bad bitch. Oh yeah, I am, very intelligent. I am strong. I gained a lot of higher education. And this really goes into, like, I'm all about, bettering yourself, whether that's going back to school, college, right? And that's initially what I'm doing right now. I'm actually pursuing my double major within digital music and creative entrepreneurship. And even the journey of starting with that. So I've been in college for a year now, right? It's like looking back at all the other education I've done and then coming into this education and kind of combining it all together is even more powerful. And looking at that for myself is just like, wow, there is a lot of knowledge that I've gained, not just by going to school, but with my own personal experience. And some people can downplay college. Some people can downplay just the world and how we see it and how we perceive it, which I totally understand, because in some perspective, we live in a fucked up world. But that is a perspective, a perception, based off of where we're at in life, based off of what we're looking at and what we're seeing, right? Because we can so focus, just like the internet, we can so focus on like the negative aspect of this world, the lower vibration, the sins, the tragedy, the trauma, the sadness, right? We can and I'm one of those individuals because I've been through so much of that. It's like sometimes I can focus more on that than the positive aspect, the growth, right? I can stay and focus more on the past than in the present and the future kind of thing. So it's really looking at it based on perception. And sometimes you have to really pull yourself out of that perception, shift that perception into a better perception, even if you don't see it, even if it's not there in your physical reality, your 5D reality. You know, it's one of those things where it comes back to manifestation, goals, dreams, all that. Like where I'm at right now, sitting in my Mercedes-Benz vehicle, like initially I never really imagined that. I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago, I would have never told you that I would have been sitting here today in a Mercedes-Benz. It wasn't until I went through different experiences, met certain people, and just trusted the process and allowed my perception to shift and change in a way that I knew I wanted better, but I may not have physically understood or known exactly what that better was going to look like. And this is where, you know, you're trusting your inner guidance, your inner God, the universe, spirit, right? You're trusting not only yourself, but you're trusting the unseen world at the same time. Okay, baby? And it's so powerful. And a lot of people aren't tapped into that. A lot of people are so one-way focused or a few-way focused, but they don't understand this world has multiple different dimensional perceptions, right? It's to the point where it's like every individual on this earth has a perception, right? Me, I have my own perception. I've worked on myself to see certain things the way they are and know it's possible to shift and change. And there's multiple people that can see it that way too, but there's multiple people in this world that don't. So look at the world as a whole. Look at the world with perceptions based on everybody, not just yourself, right? And this is where the higher self comes in, where it's like you have to step above yourself, your struggles, whatever it is, world that you live in. You have to step above it to understand there is possibilities. There is so much more than you understand just by yourself. Right? That's where teachers comes in. That's where guides comes in. That's where, you know, community comes in. That's where, you know, a lot of people can project on each other and just assume that this is what is. This is the perception of who you are, what this is, what the world's like. When in reality, it's not true. That's just based on their own perception. So what is true? What is true is what you create to make it true. And even that can change. That can evolve. That can be pushed into something different, right? It's like your belief system. I grew up religious. I grew up a certain faith-based. Yet I'm not religious anymore. So, and it's not saying that I don't believe in God, because I think people can focus on the word religious and just have this perception of that word. You know, there's multiple different religions in the world. I love religion. It's not saying that I don't love religion. I'm not religious based off of my own experience, my understanding of religion, and the different religions within the world, which I actually connect with multiple different religions. But I'm not that individual that's going to say, I'm Seventh-day Adventist, I'm Jehovah's Witness, I'm Mormon, I'm Catholic, I'm Baptist. I don't need to say that. Now, have I studied with all those religions? Yes. Have I learned something from all those religions? Yes. Even Buddhism, Hinduism, the different cultures, right? Because that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these religions are based off of culture, based off of, you know, history and the powerful experiences within the world that has happened. I've just seen two little butterflies going at each other. So it's within all that where it's like we can just assume based off what we know of how we say things, of how we see things, and just how we do things. And for me, I've learned that nothing is as it seems. We have this evolution within ourselves that we can choose to change. We can choose to look at the darkness, yet look at the light within our life and empower it in some way or form. And baby, that's what I'm doing today. I'm sharing this message with y'all, whoever is willing to listen, whoever is willing to take this in. And I'm wanting you to be inspired by your life, by this message, by the darkness, by the light within your world. And don't just look at it in one perception. Don't just see it based on your own opinion. Rise higher, and trust that process. Trust what you're going through. Trust the beauty within it, but also the chaos within it, because it's a lot more powerful than you realize. We are a lot more powerful than we realize sometimes, and that's okay, because you're right where you need to be, and that's all that is. So have a beautiful day and stay woke.